Have you guys ever watched the show Mystery Science Theater 3000? It's a show about these little weirdos watching awful movies and making fun of them. And the reason that it is so funny is because the movies they are watching take themselves so seriously, and they're just terrible. And one decade of films perfected making movies that are trying so hard to be awesome and just are the funniest films ever. And that's the 2000s. This was the Wild West of superhero films because after Spider-Man, everyone was trying to make an iconic superhero movie and the result is just comedy gold. Everyone hates on these movies, but I genuinely love watching these films. For the films I'm talking about, these are all 10s in my heart, and we're going to look at what makes a bad 2000s Marvel film so good and why I love them. So first off, what films are qualifying for this list? And that's a great question. I compiled my 5 favorite films that are so bad they're good that made the list, and they are Daredevil, Ghost Rider, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then Fantastic Four 1 and 2. And just so we could have a constant to compare them to, I also looked at a normal superhero film that came out in the 2000s, so I watched Punisher Warzone as well. So what's the first thing you need to make a movie so bad that it's a good Marvel movie? And I think the first thing you need is insane stylistic direction. This is no MCU shot reverse shot in the volume, no. In these films you get scenes like this.
What the hell just happened?
These are movies that are so confident in what they are doing for no reason, you just have to respect how much they are trying to do. Compare this to Punisher Warzone, just a normal movie, and it's alright, but wake me up when something like this happens. The next part of this very important puzzle is the film has to be distinct to its character. Daredevil, Ghost Rider, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and the Fantastic Four movies all feel like they take place in separate universes that revolve around their character. Like no other Marvel movie is opening with Braille credits. I don't know why you would open up your movie with Braille credits. It's impossible for a blind person to use, but it makes it unique to Daredevil, and whatever, I think it's neat. And all of them have scenes like this that are so weird and strange that only could happen in their movies. Like look at this scene in Fantastic Four. I don't know what's happening, but it's giving big Sky High energy, and I love Sky High, so this is hitting like crack for me.
Okay, Johnny, back it down.
I can go hotter!
Johnny, just back it down.
I can go hotter!
Any hotter and you're approaching supernova.
Sweet!
No, not sweet. That's the temperature of the sun.
I can go hotter!
And next up, the best thing these movies do is that they have absolutely insane lines that are said dead seriously by actors.
Wow. Cuckoo got screwed.
Mac, you touch the Carpenters or that chimp video again, and we got a scrap on our hands.
Hey, JB.
You're stepping on Karen.
These are lines that are so funny they make me laugh so hard I cry. When we are looking at a bad film, the idea is we go so far past a bad performance that we end up circling back to it being a good movie. And when you hear Nicolas Cage doing this accent in Ghost Rider, you eventually just give up because you're laughing so hard and have to concede that yeah, this is just a good movie. And speaking of Nick Cage, the most, if not the most important aspect of these films is fantastic actors giving awful performances. Hugh Jackman, Nicolas Cage, Ben Affleck, heck, even Jessica Alba and Chris Evans have all at points given some great performances in their careers. But in these movies, you would never know it. Hugh Jackman in Prisoners is one of the best performances I have ever seen. X-Men Origins Wolverine though, you'd think it's his first day out of a middle school acting class.
Why are you crying?
Same with Ben Affleck here. In Gone Girl, he's fantastic, but I don't believe he is blind for a second, compared to Charlie Cox, who is so good at acting blind in the Daredevil show I get confused when I'm watching interviews with him and he's holding his line of sight. Yet with all of that, these hilariously awful movies are just so fun to watch because deep down, there's a bizarre wholesomeness to it. All 5 of these movies were trying to be a special film that embodied their characters, and yeah, they all failed at trying to achieve what they wanted to, but they are never not giving 100%. Modern bad superhero movies are just sad. They're movies that were forced to be made with no passion. They feel so lifeless in that no one actually wanted to make them. But even when these 2000s movies fail, you can tell, yeah, they might suck, but whoever made them really wanted to make this movie. Mark Steven Johnson might not be a good writer or director, but you can tell he might be the biggest Ghost Rider fan on the planet because this movie is so nuts and never for a moment feels like a normal movie. Say what you want about X-Men Origins Wolverine, but it is trying, flaws and all, to tell an origin story for Wolvie, even though it is completely hilarious and never works. And the Fantastic Four movies and even Daredevil are actually trying as well, and you just have to respect it. They might not all work, but they are all unique and entertaining. Put a gun to my head and tell me who the villain of Blue Beetle is and I'm a goner. But if you ask me who the villain of Daredevil is, how could I forget Colin Farrell as Bullseye, or Deadpool and Wolverine, or even Blackheart and Ghost Rider? These movies might suck, but they are not forgettable. And just like the films in Mystery Science Theater 3000, they actually are the rarest type of films, and that is films that are actually worth revisiting. These are films that are so funny and so weird, and they only get funnier on rewatches, and most importantly, they bring friends together because watching these movies with your friends is just the best thing ever. It's like watching Moonfall with your friends. There's probably not a better movie to watch. And just like watching Moonfall, when you watch Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, heck, even X-Men Origins Wolverine, it's not about what you actually watched, but it's about the friends you made along the way. That's a quote from Superhero Squad. I'm out of here.